So, these are the two main roundabouts in Sidcup that I believe you might struggle with if you're not familiar with this roundabout. The first one is the one on Maidstone Road. So, that's literally as soon as you come out of the test center onto the main road. It's not difficult, it's just that it's quite busy and you've got two roads on your right. So, eventually, you might have a gap on your first right, but then there could be a car coming from the second right. So you've got to be very confident dealing with this so that when you have a safe gap, go for it. That gap isn't going to be there for long because it's a bit roundabout. Don't hesitate. Hesitation is not going to help you at this particular roundabout. So here we're taking the fourth exit going towards A223, and that takes us to the next roundabout. And at the next roundabout ahead of us on Edgington Way A223, you have one initial small sort of roundabout that leads on to the big roundabout, and your positioning at the first one is very important for your second one. So here we are at the first one. You want to make sure at this point keep to your right because that's going to position you for the second one if you're turning right, third exit for A224. However, if you're taking the first or second exit at the second roundabout, then you don't want to be in the right lane. You should be keeping left at the first one. And the main problem at this big roundabout is that there is no floor marking as you approach the roundabout. So this is why it is important you pay attention and remember which lane you should be going into. So once you arrive at this point, look out and wait for your safe gap. And once your safe gap comes up, then go in all the way into the right lane. And at this point, you can now see a floor marking. And the moment you get past that floor marking, start your mirror check because you need to start making your way into the middle of the road. So shift at this point away from the right, get yourself into the middle lane here because that's the one that's going to be going for A224. If you remain in that right lane for too late, you end up on the one going back to A223. So at that point, please, hands down, just turn right. As you can see, the lane on your right now, the two lanes on the right, so the middle and the right lane are both turning right. If you ever find yourself in that lane, just continue, turn right. Don't use it to go straight just because the road seems like it's right in front of you. The floor marking is pointing right only. Don't go against it. I repeat. Now, the good thing with this roundabout compared to some other roundabouts I've been around outside of London is that drivers at this roundabout tend to maintain their lanes properly. It's very unusual for such a roundabout with poor floor markings. But don't forget, on one or two occasions, you might come across drivers who are also not familiar with it. And that is why it is very important that at that point where you're going to start shifting to your left, make sure you check your mirrors. Please, it is important. In this situation, the learner driver saw this car on the left and only continued once she saw the driver was reducing speed. So that was okay and not a fault. But if she had not checked that mirror and seen that driver, I would have had to come in and that would have been a serious fault. So this is why you've got to remember the importance of your mirror check before you change position or before you change lane. A full version of this roundabout is going to be posted on YouTube, which is going to cover exit number 1, 2, 3, and even 4 for A223, should in case you missed your position in the roundabout. So yep, if you want me to do that and you want me to also post that on TikTok here as shorts, then yes, leave a comment below and I would do that. If you find this video useful, then don't forget, click the like button, and if you have a question at all, leave a comment below.